Welcome to Sunday Caregiver Stories Live, where I share the words of actual caregivers, either questions, venting, stories, advice, anything. Anything you want to share, you can share here. So I have two amazing caregiver stories to share tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about that and whatever you would like to talk about as well in the comments or anything you'd like to share. I was a little late tonight, of course, because just didn't have Wi-Fi for the afternoon. So that was a freak out moment. Hi, good to see you too. Thank you very much. I appreciate you being here and always, supporting. It's so kind. And I see, hello, I'm a caregiver for my mom located in South Carolina. My mom is in the severe and final stage. I'm so sorry. And your mom is so lucky to have you. And I'm just, thank you for showing up for her and all that you do for her. I'm so sorry though, dementia sucks. It's not fair. So caregivers are the best. You know, that I just have so much respect for caregivers and all that you do every day. So thank you. And I hope today's been a good day. I hope you've had a smooth day. And if it's been a little, on the tougher side, I hope that tomorrow is much smoother and you get some sleep tonight, and your loved one does too. But please, I like to say, if your loved one is in bed safe tonight, sleeping, and so are you, that is a big win. So every day is something to celebrate it when we look at things, as every day's a win when we're in our beds and able to, show up and be there. That is something to be proud of and to celebrate. So been a caregiver 13 years in North Carolina. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, John, for all that you do. 13 years, especially with dementia, right? This that journey can last a really long time. And just, caring for aging parents in general, can last a very long time. So thank you for everyone who keeps showing up for their people. Hardest job on planet Earth. Of course, thank you so much for showing up. It's the least I can do. Thank you. My mom is currently under hospice and we were told she has liver cancer. We're not looking for much longer. I'm so sorry. I think I need to talk more about the comorbidities, and it's so easy to just focus on the dementia, but it's often we're dealing with a lot of things. We're not just dealing with dementia. We're dealing with diabetes and we're dealing with, all these other things with cancer and dialysis, all the things. So we need to talk about comorbidities. I'm so sorry that is happening. That's a lot. Okay. I have two to share, and I know these are heavy conversations, but we know that they need to be had, and we need to hear these things, out loud more so we can feel seen and not alone. No one should feel alone in these dark parts, heavy parts of life. So here we're going to read this first one. I actually missed this last week. I'm so sorry I missed this from Allison, and so I'm sharing this week, and please share if you have any resources. Once I read this, you'll know what I'm saying. So this was one I missed from last week. Hi, I've enjoyed following your page and all the bits you've shared about but what about the caregiver who's recently without their person to care for? Mom passed away last week. I'm so sorry. It was a long, hard battle. I had the privilege of being bedside, and it was a beautiful shared last experience. I'm pretty numb. I'm also pretty lost. These last 10 years, but especially these last 5, I've shaped every day around her care. I knew it was coming. She was only on hospice for 2 days, so even though the battle with Parkinson's dementia dragged on for years, the end swooped in fast. It's not just grief support, but caregiver specifically. Do you know of any? Thank you for your support, Allison. First off, Allison, I'm so sorry. And we don't talk about this enough, and we don't see this side enough. And right away when I responded, I, said, follow Patty, Miss Patty Cake, and mom of my mom, Jacqueline, because they're both sharing, their grief journey after their mothers have passed. But it made me start to think, I really didn't know of caregiver specific grief in in a big way. Like, I feel like I haven't really seen it in a big way for like maybe programs or regular support groups. But so that's why I was excited to read this, because I think there's got to be out there that we're not seeing. So please, thank you for everyone who's saying, I'm so sorry for your loss, Allison. And because after all that work and all that caring, and like she said, how it's this long journey, and then the end was so fast. I'm just so sorry, because you're never prepared, even when you're, with dementia, this long grieving process, right? That anticipatory grief, and you watch this progressive decline. But when I talk to caregivers, and they say, but it never prepares you for the actual time when, your loved one passes. And of course not. I mean, so I'm so sorry, Allison. And so please, if anyone has any resources for that specifically, put them in the comments, and then I'm going to definitely share that with everyone, because I know Allison is not alone in this, and I know people, it's good to have these things ready too, if to prepare for these times as well. But I did want to see, I thought we had, I knew of one. I'm trying to think right now, because now I'm actually recalling a grief, someone who wrote me about grief. And so let me see, because Barry is a caregiver. She's on here. She was on here earlier. She was saying hi, the memory circle, and she talks about, she's focused on grief. So so I thought that I would point towards Barry. And if Barry, you're still on here, but she has the memory circle, and she does so it's, I see on her here, go on her website, thememorycircle.com, and it looks like she has grief coaching, living with loss, engaging in meaningful conversation and virtual wisdom, writing, and reflecting together. So it's like therapists and counselors for grief, and she is a caregiver in the dementia world. So so she would be a good one for that specifically. So thank you to Barry for the work that you do. But I do want to say, if anyone has a really great support that you've noticed for caregivers specifically that are grieving, please share it. I would love to share that with the world and with all of you. And, if we don't see one, let's see who we can talk to help us create one, because everyone needs that safe space, especially when after, grieving with that. Allison, if I know you only got 2 days with the hospice company, but I'm hoping they were supportive and that they have some grief supports for you. But I know, again, you said like caregiver specific, and a lot of the times it's just a general grief. So you're right. We need to find specific to dementia caregiver grief, because that's a different layered type of grief for sure. And Allison, you are not alone. Thank you so much for sharing. And I will keep seeking out these types of supports and sharing them when I find them. And I encourage everyone to also share with me when they find them. And then also, I will start talking about this on my page more. I know that we need to talk about the after of this journey. There's so much to it that a caregiver has to process. So we need to talk about this more. Thank you for bringing it to, the forefront for me, Allison. I know, so someone's saying, I know the hospice that I'm under with my mom, they offer counseling afterwards, so you may need to contact the hospice. Thank you for saying that. Hospice is supposed to help the family, I believe, up to a year after, if you would like to use that. But you never know what the level of support is from each company, or what that looks like, or if you even like the counselor you're working with. There's so many layers, but it is something to look into, because it is provided through that service. That is one thing I really think is a benefit to hospice for the family. But I agree that it needs to be specific to a dementia caregiver, because the family might be able to, at large, the family might be able to, benefit from maybe those resources. But again, I think those intricacies that go into being the dementia care partner after all those years, it's not just grieving like the end, it was grieving this whole journey and then becoming someone new after the journey. There's so much more into it, right? So that is definitely an expertise that is needed. So thank you again, Allison, for sharing with us. I know it's really difficult. Um, we have Georgina's story, of course, and she always teaches us so much as well. So, Georgina, let's go on to your story this week. So, hi, Carrie. So, last week I left you on a bit of a somber tale of Nan not speaking and me longing to have a conversation. This week, her ability has really stayed the same. Her language muddled, her voice soft, and her wanting to speak wavering. But what has changed is how I feel. I've processed the change, realized it's not a symptom of disease beyond dementia or a reaction to respite. But it's just our new normal. I can't fix it, so I must not fight it. I'll encourage where appropriate, but now I'm accepting the loss of this skill. I look back at these new normals we have faced. The normal of me just observing closer to keep her safe, the normal where we sit more and do less together, the normal where visitors reduce, the normal where my aid is needed more, the normal where independent life is lacking for us both, the normal where we decide what we won't fix for her anymore, the normal where I'm needed for everything, and now the normal where our communication will become less vocal and more physical. It's a lot of new normals. Some lasted a while, others passed on to its successor quickly. Regardless of how hard, how quick, how long these normals last, one thing has improved: my ability to adapt to them. Less tears, less fighting, less frustration. I assess, review, process, accept, embrace. To my fellow caregivers, this, I hope, is either a reminder and a celebration of the past normals you have faced and survived, or it will hopefully be reassurance that as time passes, you will adapt and survive the normals yet to come. I've said it before, caregiving is 90% mindset. We have the strongest minds I know. So whatever your normal is right now, I'm sorry if it's hard and sad. I hope it still allows love and joy to flow, and remember, it will pass. And yes, it will pass to probably harder things to face. But with each normal, you become stronger, more adaptive, and you can do it. I know this has to be true because surviving and thriving is the caregiver normal. Love you guys. I look forward to hearing the live tomorrow when I start my week. Your craft caregiver, G. I love you, Georgina. I love you. Gosh, you're so wise. You're so good at writing. Just so good. And I love what you said is how you were saying all these normals that have, changed and they weren't your normals anymore. People are saying that's deep, Georgina. That was beautiful. And I agree. It was to look back on your progression is something that we don't do enough. And I think in life in general, but we need to do that for caregiving, to really look back and see how much you've conquered and how much, like she said, that normal changed. And then, okay, we adapted and this was our new normal. And I love that. And Demetra, I know you're going through it, girl. So I'm glad that you were able to hear that. And yeah, Jenna, wasn't that powerful? Georgina's so eloquent and empowering in her words. So thank you, Georgina, for that. And I do agree. I know she said this before. I do agree that, it's 90% mindset. It's a lot about mindset in life. And that's the hard part, right? Is changing our mindset's freaking hard. So she said, how much she's had to work on this. But I'm going to just say this again. I love this. Regardless of how hard, how quick, how long these normals last, one thing has improved: my ability to adapt to them. Less tears, less fighting, less frustration. I assess, review, process, accept, embrace. Assess, review, process, accept, embrace. I love that. Like, beautiful. And I love it. It should be a celebration of, in those, to look back at it, to skew it a little bit and look back and like she said, the celebration of looking back and seeing how much you've grown and how much you've succeeded in this, most difficult journey. So I agree. It's, oh my gosh, yeah. We don't know how to support the dementia community fully. I agree. Georgina, gosh, what a beautiful perspective. Absolutely 100% mindset. And it keeps changing. Yeah, and your mindset always has to keep changing, right? Because with the progression, you're always on your toes and you're always having to adapt and have to learn new mindsets, which I think like truly, that's why I know caregivers are the most wise people I meet. Like caregivers are like you just said, steady. Thank you, steady. And you help caregivers with their minds. So strongest minds we know. I agree. I think, caregiving makes the strongest, most beautifully resilient people. And you shouldn't have to be so resilient. You shouldn't have to be so strong. That's not like something that you should have to do. But man, caregivers, you're amazing. And if you do, I tagged Steady in my post today, but if you do not know about Steady app, Steady is an amazing caregiver coaching and it's free. So check out Steady. I put them in today, but it's www.steady.com. And Steady, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Yeah, ARPAC, I love that. I like that too. So assess, review, process, accept, embrace. Good job. You made it into an acronym. I love it. Okay. So we also work with people who are grieving. I know you had some people mention that. Thank you, Steady. Okay, wonderful. And specific to caregiver grief, because that's what you do. So thank you for saying that. So if you are, going through some of this grieving and want some support, please check out Steady. They're incredible and they're doing the work. They're doing what we need. So thank you for saying that. Oh my gosh, thank you for your work. Incredible. Okay. I was just going to share. So again, Georgina, we love you. You teach me so much. And I'm sorry that this is another step with Nan. That's never easy. But I'm so proud of you and how you step up for her and say, this is a chance for me to meet her in her new normal. You always say that. And I'm just like, so just in awe of you, girl. Thank you for sharing and inspiring. This week's challenge, preparing for a hurricane with mom who has dementia. Actually, she has been real compliant with my requests, even showered on her own, gathered clothes in case we have to evacuate. I'm glad things have been smooth in that regard where she has been able to, go along, but I'm so sorry. I can't imagine preparing for a disaster, a potential disaster like that, as on top of caregiving. Teresa, you are incredible. And yeah, that's absolutely a victory to celebrate that she was able to do those things. If you need, I know there's some nice resources about evacuation as a caregiver, but I'm sure you've found those, but put in the chat if you need those, because I've seen a couple. And when I was in college, I did a big presentation on how to support someone and aging individuals and people living with dementia in natural disasters. If you need a couple of those resources, let me know. But I know, no resources can truly help you in that moment when it's you and your person. It's difficult to do that. So good luck to you. I'm thinking of you, and man, you're incredible. I hope there are supports down there in Texas for you guys, so you're not on your own in those situations. Caregivers, you guys are amazing. I am also thinking of everyone in the hurricane area, thinking of you. Everyone dealing with extreme heat, thinking of you. Very difficult to keep our loved ones safe in these extreme weather situations. Man, I'm so sorry that that's another thing you have to worry about. I was excited to share some resources with you that I found, that I was able to learn about and find when I visited the Cleveland Clinic Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health on Friday and spoke with the Women's Alzheimer's Movement Prevention and Research Center, and then also parts of their caregiver supports. It was really inspirational, and they have a whole ongoing programs that are virtual. They have some hybrids and stuff, but it's pretty much all virtual. So I'm going to share some of these on my page. But you can always go to clevelandclinic.org, and I'll show you, or I'm going to put it in the chat. So I really love Cleveland Clinic because the one in Vegas specifically does these events that are free, and very helpful. And they have a bunch of programming specific for caregivers that are supporting people living with dementia and other, you know, brain diseases, anything dealing with brain health. So if you check out clevelandclinic.org/Nevada events, you will be able to see these programs that, again, are free. So you do have some support groups. There's an FTD and PPA, so the frontal temporal disorder and primary progressive aphasia support group. And that is the first and third Wednesday of the month. So there's a group for that. There's a dementia with Lewy body support group. This is for the care partners, so the caregivers. And then also another one that's caring for people with memory loss. And that is a peer-led group. There's also for individuals and their care partners, so both your person you're caring for and yourself, for people living with Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and multiple sclerosis. So you have those options. There are conversations to remember. These are some fun, like, engagement things that you can also do. There's art classes as well that they do online. And then they have a lunch and learn series, which is awesome as well. Every Wednesday at noon, they have a different one, and I'll probably be doing one in November, so that'll be fun, and I'll show you when that comes closer. But like on July 17th, if you've ever heard of the book Welcome to Planet Alzheimer's, the author of that will be talking about her journey. Then the next week, they're going to be talking about neurological health, and then the last Wednesday of the month, the last day of the month, actually, they're going to be doing with their OT from Cleveland Clinic. It's online, and they're telling you how to fun ways to fill the dog days of summer. So things to do when it's too hot outside. It's been 117 here, so those are good for us in Vegas. And then there's also something called Dementia Conversations with people living with dementia. So if your loved one is maybe in earlier stages and wants to speak with other people living with dementia, that is a group for them, and this is online. And they also have a book of the month series, and they speak about that in the book, as you can get it from their e-library too, and it's Dementia Beyond Disease, Enhancing Wellbeing. So there's some really great things in here. They're also going to be giving a Dealing with Dementia Family Caregiver Workshop, which I used to teach, and it's wonderful. And they're going to be doing it hybrid in the fall, so that's exciting because it's a long course if you're able to do it, but that's why it's usually in person. So I'm excited that it's going to be online for some people, and then also they are going to have an event on what causes Parkinson's disease as well on July 18th. So if you want to check out just some of the things that are going on Cleveland Clinic, these are virtual and free. And Cleveland Clinic is, you know, one of the best hospitals in the world and medical, you know, professionals in the world. So and this specific one in Nevada houses Maria Shriver's Women's Alzheimer's movement. So they're specifically doing research and like leading the way in research for women in dementia, which is really exciting. So I wanted to share that, but please let me know if you ever want to share for Sunday Stories. dementiadarling@gmail.com is my email. Email me your stories, your questions, your ideas. If you wanted to share, you know, a grief support group for Allison, please let me know so I can pass it along. But I just truly appreciate you all, and I love to be able to share any resources that you find that are helpful, and I'll keep sharing the ones that I know of. I also kind of was mad at myself for not sharing this one earlier with my mental health post earlier, but I just want to find it before I say it so I don't say it wrong, because it's like Caregivers Zen, and it's all mindfulness. Okay, so it's zencaregiving.org, Zen, Z-E-N, caregiving.org, and they're teaching caregivers skills rooted in mindfulness and compassion. So I think that's kind of cool. And they also have, it was one of the first places I've seen a section devoted, they have family caregivers and professional caregiver engagement items, which I've never seen because usually I don't see things for professional dementia caregivers. But I think it was pretty cool. Let me see, can I switch this over? So this is zencaregiving.org, and I've looked at them for years, and I I share them, and I've shared them before, but I think they are really cool. They have like specific guided meditations for caregivers. Let's go to the resources together. So mindfulness and meditation, caregiving grief support. Let's go to that. Okay, so there's like different things. So help guide grief and loss. Let's go to that. Okay, so then there's some stuff in there. But I really like, I'm getting off topic now, kind of. But what I like really is that they have, it's just like truly about mindfulness. And I think that's so important. I was talking about that with Alzheimer's Awakening, Jess, when we did our live. And it's just so important. So again, navigating challenges of caregiving and the emotional strain of that. So caregivingzen.com. So they have some educations. Let's see. Weekly guided meditation online live on Tuesdays. That's awesome. Mindful family caregiving. So just, yeah, something to share. I know it's hard. It's so hard to find resources and supports, but I do think that one's pretty interesting. I'm trying to be more mindful myself. I know it's hard. But I want to do a shout out again to Georgina and Allison for sharing and being so open and transparent. I know it's really difficult to do that, but I think it can be also really healing and good for our hearts and minds to write things down. So if you feel like you need to start getting things out and the emotions, you're always welcome to share with me. And I will always say it's anonymous. Just tell me it's to make sure to say anonymous. You're always safe here, no matter, what you need to get off your chest. So dementiadarling@gmail.com if you need to do that. And you're amazing, Jenna. Thanks for the work that you do. And anyone who is in Washington State that needs specific, support and therapy, you can reach out to Aging with a Plan, which is Jenna, and she gets it. She gets it and can support you. So you are not alone, caregivers. Let's go into this week. Let's have a good week. Stay cool and stay safe. And thinking of all of you, I hope you get sleep tonight. And yeah, thank you all. Bye.